Hey, you guys, this is Rafael from Shiloh in Savannah, Tennessee. We're getting to be with you again today. Going to talk about a little gun with a whole lot of coolness to it. This gun is made by one of the most famous gun makers of all time, the Remington Company in Ilion, New York. And Remington, during the Civil War, they made a lot of really cool guns. They made the Remington Army, the 44 caliber. They made some Navy models. In 36, they made the Zouave musket, the Remington model 1863 Zouave 58 caliber musket. Looks like a Mississippi. Beautiful gun. And they also did a lot of other things. And they had some in the works that didn't quite make it in time for Civil War, but Civil War era gun collectors still like them because they fall in that ballpark. And this is one of those. The first ones came out in 1866, year of our Lord. And it is what is referred to as a Remington double Deringer. Some people will call them an over and under, and some people will also call them the model 1895 double Deringer. Not 95, the model 95, not the model 1980. Reword, the model 95 double Deringer. Had nothing to do with 1895. Sometimes all those words I want to throw at you just get in the wrong order. So I got to rewound them and say them the right way. So it's a 41 caliber double barrel that fires a 41 caliber short rimfire cartridge from the 3-inch barrel. Now, a lot of them that you see have the barrel side by side like this. This little jewel has them over and under. And that is one of their unique things. How do they work? Well, since you asked, I would be glad to tell you. On the back side of this little gun, or the right side rather, it has a little clip. You spin that forward like this. You spin it forward. The barrel lifts up for loading your cartridges. If you notice, there's a little lever on the side like this. That's the shell extractor. See, there's those words again. The shell extractor. It helps pop the cartridge out after you fire it. So you load it up there, and how does it fire? It has a striker. And each time you fire it, that striker goes back from top to bottom. It was a very interesting design that was very popular. They sold 150,000 of these, and they made this model gun for 69 years. 69 years. They made them from 1866 all the way up until 1935. So, as we've talked about several times, you've got to be careful on modern gun versus antique guns. The cutoff date, the government got this bright idea that they're going to call it December 31st, year of our Lord, 1898. They could have made it the turn of the century, but that'd been just too easy. They couldn't do it that way. So, if you have a gun that is made before December 31st, 1898, it qualifies as an antique. It requires no paperwork because it is an antique and they just don't require it. If it's made January 1st, 1899 or newer, it qualifies as a modern weapon. I know it doesn't make any sense, but so you can have one of these that was made in 1898, it's an antique. You can have one that is made in 1899, it's a modern gun and requires paperwork. Yep. It ain't my call. I just play by their rules because I am busy for the next 10 to 12 and I do not want to go to jail for any reason, especially having a gun that I sell the wrong way. How can you tell them apart? Another good question. Man, y'all always got the best questions. I'm glad to answer them. They're basically the same gun. They have a few little progressions. There's 3 main models with some sub-models in there. But the quick way to tell is the marking on the top of the barrel. This one has the Remington mark. Some of the early ones will reference the fact that these were developed by one of the guys that, man, he was a genius. His name was William H. Elliott, and he developed a pepper box for Remington. He developed several really cool guns for Remington, but he developed this one as well. The early ones will have his mark. The later ones will just have Remington. If you see UMC, Union Metallic Cartridge Company, UMC, stamped on the top of the barrel, it's late. The other ones at least have a chance of being pre-1898. But if you see that UMC, it is a later production. This one is fully functional. It's got the grips, and the grips will vary some on them. This one has really pretty grips, got a lot of the original blue finish. It's just a nice gun. And you see these a lot of times, these things, they made a lot of them, but they broke fairly easily. And what breaks on them? The hinge pin. When you look at the top of the gun, that little screw and hinge that the pivot's on, that breaks fairly easily. And in Flederman's Guide, you always hear me reference Flederman's Guide. When Flederman talks about those, he mentions that if that hinge is broken, it can affect the value up to 50%. And that's true, because even though you're not going to be firing this little gun, hopefully, you still want it to function the way it should. And they can repair that, but once you repair it, it's just never as good as it was when it left the factory. And it broke when it left the factory. So be careful if you ever get the bright idea to fire one of these things, because it's a 41 caliber bullet, which packs a pretty good punch, even though it's a short little cartridge. But these guns are neat. I've always enjoyed them. They've always sold because, one, people like Remington guns. Two, people have always liked small guns. And if you notice, that gun is easy to hide. You can imagine putting it in your pocket. It would be an easy gun for a man or a woman to hide and conceal if you need a little protection. They're just cool little guns, and they function in a neat way. But if you go on to ShilohRelics.com and look at those, I've got it on there, and I got a bunch of new guns that I'm putting on. I've got some great flintlocks. If you like the opposite of this one, if you want a big old flintlock that you can't hide in a pocket, I got some of them that are neat. I love them. But I hope that you go on there. Please remember to subscribe to ShilohRelics.com's YouTube channel. Please share these videos and like them, because it means a lot to me when you do. We've gotten a lot of new collectors, and that was the purpose of this, is to, one, help my business. I ain't gonna lie to you, and it has. You guys have been great. But also to help educate and to share our hobby with new collectors, because we need them, because so many people don't get taught history anymore. And I want to share these things not only because it helps feed my family, but because they're important. They're a part of our history, and the best way to appreciate history is to remember it correctly. And while I'm on my soapbox, I watched Sunday mornings. I really enjoy. There's a show on CBS Sunday mornings, I guess it is. And they had an interview with Michael J. Fox from Back to the Future and all of those things. And he is suffering with, or he is surviving with Parkinson's disease. And man, he's made it over 30 years with it. And like he said, most folks don't get that. But at the end of the video, he said something, and it hit me awful hard, and it stuck with me. He said, with gratitude, optimism is sustainable. With gratitude, optimism is sustainable. And if you think about that, damn, that's strong. Especially from somebody that is, it's gonna get him. And he knows it, but he said it's been a great life, and he's gotten to do things that, and I think all of us should feel that way, that we are thankful for what we've got. We don't regret what we don't have. We accept what we have been dealt and do the best that we can with it. So I am thankful for my life. I'm thankful for you guys. I'm thankful I get to be on these with you. I hope you're well. Remember to tell those that you love them. And if the last words you hear out of my mouth are "I love you," shit, I'm all right with that. I'll catch you later. Bye-bye.